Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you once again here on the U to the Tube. Man, I feel like it's been a while. Yeah, just soaking this all in right now because I feel like it's been a while. But anyway, we got a good bit to talk about. Gonna recap the Stardom 5-star Grand Prix. There was a couple of matches that took place, so I'll recap the current scoreboard. Hiromu Takahashi made his return, had his return match in New Japan Pro Wrestling against Doki, so it's good to see him back. And of course, they're getting prepared for Wrestle Grand Slam at the MetLife Dome, so definitely got a lot to look forward to as well. A couple of title matches are going to be happening, so this is good. And then we're going to talk some AEW. Had another good AEW Rampage and Dynamite as they're getting close to the go home week, which is next week as they get prepared for All Out next Saturday. And then, of course, we'll talk a few things WWE as well. So we got a good bit to cover. But let's go ahead and get started with Stardom. So one of the things that recently just started is the newest member of the Stardom roster, also the newest member of Cosmic Angels, Mai Sakurai, has started a Stardom challenge, kind of similar to what Unagi Sayaka did, where she's going to take on a series of opponents in these coming dates. And I actually have the list of opponents she has. So, first, which was today, she went up against Utami Hayashishita. Wow, that's a crazy first start. August the 29th, she'll face Momo Watanabe. On September the 4th, she'll face Julia. On September the 6th, Micah. On September 11th, she'll face my girl Shuri. On September 12th, she'll face Natsupoi. On the 16th, she'll face Mayu Iwatani. On the 18th, she'll face Konami. And then her last match of this Stardom Challenge will be on September 20th, where she will face Saya Kamitani. So she's this is a tough list. This is definitely a tough list. And you know, when Unagi Sayaka went through her challenge, she didn't win a single match. So looks like the same might happen with Mai Sakurai, if I can be honest. But it is what it is. We'll see how she does. Okay. Now, unfortunately, she did have her first match, which was against Utami Hayashishita, and she lost, which, not surprised. I was just really surprised that ended up being her first match in this challenge. But anyway, let's recap the 5-star Grand Prix matches. So, we had a couple that took place the 28th of August, today. Natsupoi beat Fukigen Death. Konami beat Ruoka. Starlight Kid beat Mina Shirakawa. We had a time limit draw between Unagi Sayaka and Micah. And then in Himeka's return match, unfortunately, she lost to Mayu Iwatani. So let's look at the current standings. Starting with the red block, the Red Stars. So Fukigen Death and Himeka both have 0, which Fukigen Death has not looked good at all, with losses to Starlight Kid, Natsupoi, and Mina Shirakawa. And Himeka just had her first return match, but fortunately she lost to Mayu Iwatani. Momo Watanabe and Saki Kashima are both tied at 2 points, which Kashima has a victory over Julia, but 2 losses against Mina Shirakawa and Starlight Kid. And Momo Watanabe, she's been struggling a little bit, but she hasn't had that many matches. But she is 1-1 with wins over Mayu Iwatani and a loss against Natsupoi. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot. Koguma also only has 2 points, which she has defeated Natsupoi but lost to Julia. We have Julia and Mina Shirakawa both at 4 points. So Mina Shirakawa is 2-1 with wins over Saki Kashima and Fukiken Death, but a loss to Starlight Kid. And then Julia, she is 2-2 with wins against Starlight Kid and Koguma, but losses to Saki Kashima and Mayu Iwatani. Natsupoi stands alone with 5 points on the Red Stars. Natsupoi is 2-2-1, which she has wins over Momo Watanabe and Fukiken Death, losses against Mayu Iwatani and Koguma, and a draw with Starlight Kid. Mayu Iwatani is in second place currently with 6 points. Mayu is 3-1 with victories over Julia, Himeka, and Natsupoi, but a loss to Momo Watanabe. And standing at the top for now with 7 points is Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid's been doing well. She is 3-1-1 with victories over Fukiken Death, Saki Kashima, and Mina Shirakawa, a loss to Julia, and a draw with Natsupoi. So Starlight Kid looking very strong so far in this 5-star Grand Prix. Who knows? She could, between her, Mayu Iwatani, who knows? Could be the top favorites to win or to advance to the finals. Or even to win. Okay, Blue Stars. So Roka and Takumi Iroha both have 0 points, which Takumi Iroha hasn't had her match yet, which I believe she will have her first match, I think, this weekend or early next week. But it's coming. It's coming. And Roka, she's 0-3 with losses to Tam Nakano, Maika, and Konami. So Roka not looking too good. And those have been quick losses. Azumi stands alone at 2 points, which she is 1-2 with victories over Shuri and losses to Unagi Sayaka and Maika. Konami, Saya Kamitani, Utami Hayashishita, and Shuri, all 4 of those ladies have 4 points. So Konami is 2-2 with wins over Ruoka and Unagi Sayaka and losses to Saya Kamitani and Tam Nakano. Saya Kamitani is 2-2 with victories over Tam Nakano and Konami, but losses to Shuri and Utami Hayashishita. Utami Hayashishita is 2-1 with victories over Saya Kamitani and Unagi Sayaka, but lost to Maika. Shuri is 2-1 with victories over Saya Kamitani and Maika, but lost to Azumi. You have Unagi Sayaka standing alone with 5 points. So it's got to hold on to that 3rd place spot with 5 points. Unagi Sayaka is 2-2-1 with victories over Azumi and Tam Nakano, losses to Utami Hayashishita and Roka, and a draw with Maika. You have Tam Nakano with 6 points, so she's still looking strong in this tournament. She is 3-2 with wins over Maika, Konami, and Roka, but lost to Unagi Sayaka and Saya Kamitani. And then standing at first place with 7 points is Maika. So Micah looking good. Micah is 3-2-1 with victories over Utami Hayashishita, Ruoka, and Azumi, but losses to Shuri and Tam Nakano, and the one draw with Unagi Sayaka. So those are your standings as of now. Micah, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka looking very strong for the Blue Stars. Either of those three could end up going to the finals, but we still got some to keep an eye on. We got to see how Takumi Iroha does when she starts having her matches. And Himeka, she just had her first match, so we have to see if she can get going and start rising the ranks. But it's definitely safe to say that Fukigen Death and Ruoka definitely won't be winning this tournament or advancing out of their block, for sure. So you can go ahead and just, yeah. But that's your 5-star Grand Prix recap. Still have plenty of matches, as it gets ready to enter into the month of September. So this is fun. Should be fun. Good stuff. All right, looking at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Recently, this past Friday, the 27th, during the Summer Struggle Tour, Hiromu Takahashi made his return. And he was actually in the main event. Took on Doki. It was a fairly long match, but looked good. Was able to finish him off with a time bomb. And it's just good to have him back. Good to have him back in in-ring competition. So, welcome back, Hiromu Takahashi. Now, there's a couple of matches that have been announced for Wrestle Grand Slam in the MetLife Dome, which there'll be 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday, September 4th and 5th. Let's take a quick look at some of these matches. We know that both shows there will be a Stardom Showcase dark match, which they haven't announced the competitors for that, but both nights will have a Stardom match. KOPW 2021 champion Chase Owens will defend against Toru Yano in a no disqualification I quit match. So that ought to be really interesting and probably could go either way. New IWGP United States champion Hiroshi Tanahashi will defend against Kota Ibushi. I feel like it's been a while since I've really seen Kota Ibushi, so it's really good to see him back and having himself a title match. This should be a good match. Should be a really good match. Let's see some other titles that'll be on the line. So we know those 2 will be on the line, and then the Sunday show. Oh, we got a couple of title matches for the Sunday show. The IWGP World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as Shingo Takagi will defend against Evil. So that should be good. We have a 3-way, a triple threat for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. The Dangerous Tekkers, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, will defend against LIJ, Sonata, and Tetsuya Naito, and Chaos's Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. So that should be entertaining. Should be very entertaining. And then the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship will be defended as Robbie Eagles will be making his first and extremely difficult defense against the returning Hiromu Takahashi. That's going to be a big challenge, big first challenge for Robbie Eagles. Not saying that he can't win this match, but whew, I don't know. I really hope that this doesn't set up Hiromu getting the belt back and just Robbie Eagles being that transitional champion. I really I really hope that's not the case. So, I mean, because I want to see how Robbie Eagles does with a championship run. So I don't want Hiromu to win this. As much as I'm glad to see that he's back. I don't want him to win this. I really don't. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, handful of championship matches between these two nights. And then, as after that event, of course, we got the G1 Climax, which starts Saturday, September 18th and goes all the way to October 21st. They haven't said much news about this event and the competitors, so hopefully we'll see something soon. We got the Autumn Attack from NJPW Strong, which is on Saturday, September 25th, and Sunday the 26th as well in Texas, which Will Ospreay will be competing. He'll be going up against Carl Fredericks, and Minoru Suzuki will be going up against Fred Rosser. So those are two announced matches. And then Taiji Ishimori versus Lio Rush. That's an announced match. And then a little mini Suzuki Gun reunion with Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer teaming up to take on Filthy Tom Lawler, the NJPW Strong Openweight Champion, and Royce Isaacs, one half of the West Coast Wrecking Crew. So this should be interesting. It'll be in Garland, Texas. So that'll be a special taping. And then October, they announced the Road to Power Struggle. So Power Struggle is another event series that'll be starting late in October and going into November. And then Power Struggle is Saturday, November 6th. And I forgot one. I skipped one. Let's see. Oh, NJPW Strong New Japan Showdown. That's also 2 shows, October 16th and 17th. So NJPW Strong got some shows lined up, so that's good. We got Battle in the Valley in San Jose, California. That's in November, and another late NJPW Strong Detonation show in November as well, also in California, Riverside to be specific. So NJPW Strong got a lot of shows rounding up later this fall. So should be good. Should be really good. But okay, so that's all for now for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's get into some AEW Dynamite. So, first starting off, we had a match between freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and Big Money Matt Hardy. This was quite a bloody match. Definitely a good match overall, but I did not expect it to be that bloody. Goodness gracious. But Orange Cassidy was able to get the victory after he pretty much reversed the leech that Matt Hardy was trying to put on, that double arm guillotine choke, but was able to reverse it and pin Matt Hardy. But it was a good opening match. I thought it was a good opening match. But afterwards we had Chris Jericho come out, got on the mic, did a promo, talked about his future. You know, he was pretty bothered by the fact that he went through that whole Labors of Jericho but could not get the job done in defeating MJF. And it's just something that's just been annoying him and just really been on his mind constantly, but just could not beat MJF. So he wants one more crack at it. Yes, he wants one more crack at it. Jericho wants one more match with MJF. So this is to take place at All Out. So MJF comes out, and here's the thing. Jericho offered this stipulation. If he cannot defeat MJF, Chris Jericho will retire from in-ring competition. Period. Full on retire. Now, MJF is pretty much like, normally I wouldn't be up for this, considering, you know, I beat you and I beat you and I beat you. But to be able to say that I ended the career of Chris Jericho, that's legendary. So he accepted the match, but he reminded Jericho, remember, I beat you 3 times. This is who you're going up against. I beat you 3 times. And, you know, ended with his catchphrase, because I'm better than you and you know it. But yeah, I gotta give Chris Jericho a lot of credit. It seems like he is indeed okay with MJF retiring him. Because I honestly don't believe Chris Jericho is going to win this match at All Out. I think this will be his final match, and I believe MJF will receive the torch, and he'll retire Jericho. And I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. And not to mention, you know, especially when it comes to AEW specifically, Jericho really doesn't have anything left to prove. He was their first champion. You know, was a champion for a good long while. So, I mean, not to mention, he's in his 50s. He's getting ready to go on tour with Fozzy. So, I mean, Chris Jericho has had a legendary pro wrestling career. So, I feel like it's definitely time. It's definitely time. And it's nothing to be ashamed about. Chris Jericho's had a legendary career. So, I'm hoping to see him continue to have roles like commentary or maybe producer, backstage. You know what I mean? He'll definitely still be involved in the business in some form or fashion. So, but I look forward to this and really seeing, you know, how this carries MJF going forward, because MJF, he's been an excellent heel, also a great wrestler. So I look forward to seeing how this propels MJF. We had the Varsity Blondes versus the Lucha Brothers in a World Tag Team Title Eliminator semifinal match, which this was actually really good. This was a really good match. Like, wow. Which, I mean, let's be honest. You put the Lucha Bros teamed up with any other tag team, you know, in general, you're going to get a great match. So, I don't know if it was a combination of just Lucha Bros in a match versus, you know, the fact of certain tag teams in a match with them, but they can carry a match. They can definitely carry a match. And this was no different. But Lucha Bros were able to get the victory. Nailed a couple of super kicks to Brian Pillman Jr. and then hit the assisted pile driver to get the victory. But man, Lucha Bros, they looking on fire. they're looking on fire. We had Red Velvet versus debuting Jamie Hayter. And you know what? I gotta give Red Velvet credit. She fought back, and actually, this was no squash. This really, I mean, it could have gone either way, but Jamie Hayter was definitely gonna win this match. But it wasn't a squash. I would not say that it was a squash. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But Jamie Hayter definitely looked good in this match. Took Red Velvet's head off with a clothesline, and got the victory. They began a beatdown on Red Velvet. So it was Jamie Hayter, and she was accompanied by Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the AEW Women's World Champion, and Rebel. They began a beatdown on Red Velvet. Chris Statlander comes out to for the rescue, scares everybody off. Now, of course, Chris Statlander has a title shot against Britt Baker at All Out, which I believe this is her first. If I remember correctly, this is her first title shot since AEW began. So I'm really curious to see how Chris Statlander does. I don't think she'll win, but we'll have to see how she does. But I think this is her first title shot. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is her first title shot. Looks like there's some dissension between the Dark Order. Alex Reynolds was blaming Evil Uno for the fact that Hangman Adam Page left the Dark Order, didn't want to continue that bond, I guess. He ended up insulting Alex Reynolds, but Alex Reynolds was like, you know what? I'm out. Which I don't know if this means that, he's out of the Dark Order or not, but there's clearly some dissension. Evil Uno tried to apologize, but that didn't do anything. But I got a feeling we got a few folks that might that Dark Order probably will split. Within the ranks will split. I think it's bound to happen. I think it's definitely bound to happen. But who knows? Maybe there'll be an angle where Adam Page will come back, and that'll be what reunites the Dark Order. But we'll see. We'll see. Hangman Adam Page, it looks like he's going to be out for a while because his wife is pregnant. So I'm sure he's got some much earned and deserved time away. So probably won't see him for a bit, but I could be wrong. And then CM Punk came out, made another appearance, and had an interview with Tony Schiavone. And, it was good. It was definitely good. He talked about what brought him back to the ring. And, he popped off a few names. Jungle Boy, Brian Pillman Jr., the Lucha Bros. And, it was some question if CM Punk can still go. And if the answer is yes, it's going to start with Darby Allin. So, I'm definitely looking forward to this. Darby Allin, CM Punk, September 5th at All Out. Should be excellent. TNT champion Miro called out Eddie Kingston. So, looks like there's going to be a storyline brewing between Eddie Kingston and Miro, which I think will be awesome. I think if anybody has a good chance of taking the title from Miro, it's Eddie Kingston. But we'll see. We'll see. We had a trios match. Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, and Darby Allin versus the Wingmen. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love JD Drake, but this is kind of a one-sided match. It's kind of a one-sided match, if I can be honest. But I mean, still, they were able to get the victory. Darby got JD Drake with a coffin drop. But then after the match, Danny Garcia came out and attacked Darby Allin. Got in a free cheap shot. but yeah. So looking forward to seeing at some point, I believe Darby Allin and Danny Garcia, I believe, is gonna be facing each other. I want to say at the next Rampage. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But we'll see. And then we had a segment with AEW World Champion Kenny Omega coming out for another interview. Of course, the Elite were there. Don Callis declared, "We're going to take Christian out once and for all." Of course, Christian Cage comes out talking mad smack about the group, especially Don Callis, which my dad likes to call Don Callis turkey neck. But yeah, it's just a bunch of back and forth, and you know, it was reminded that hey, Kenny Omega hadn't been pinned in a long time, and Christian Cage did that. So, oh man. But of course, you know, there was a attack on Christian Cage. Christian Cage had gotten in there. Brandon Cutler sprayed the freeze spray in Christian Cage, and then they began the beatdown. And then the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian, comes out, scared everybody off, which this was how this ended up turning into the tag team match on AEW Rampage, which I'll get to in a moment, which was between Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian versus Brandon Cutler and Kenny Omega. Now, Jon Moxley had another backstage promo, and he talked up Satoshi Kojima. The only guy that has the balls to step through the forbidden door is Satoshi Kojima. So now we got a match between Jon Moxley and Satoshi Kojima for All Out, September 5th. The card just keeps looking better and better. We had the Gun Club versus the Factory. I wasn't too big and into this match, but I mean, hey, Gun Club got the victory. But yeah, I wasn't too that much into this match, to be honest with you. But the Gun Club did get the victory. And now you had a segment with Dan Lambert with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, which he pretty much talked up and praised folks like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky as real men. But yeah. And then you had the main event, which was Malachi Black versus not Brock Lesnar, but Brock Anderson, the son of Arn Anderson. I mean, Brock tried to charge at him. He tried to charge at him and take the fight to him. I give him that, but yeah. He gave it a good effort, but ended up taking out Brock. Hit the Black Mass. Pin 1, 2, 3. Arn entered the ring. Malachi Black got back in there with a steel chair. Arn Anderson wanted him to drop the chair and they'd fight. Tried to hit a Black Mass. Arn blocked it pretty convincingly. It's like, oh snap, Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, blocked the Black Mass, but then ate a low blow. And then he ate a Black Mass. He was determined he was going to get that Black Mass. But, did that. Lee Johnson came down, but by that time, Malachi Black had left. So I'm guessing Lee Johnson is probably going to be the next target for Malachi Black. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. Not a super intriguing main event, but it sent a message. It definitely sent a message. So, I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. And then we had AEW Rampage yesterday, which we had the finals of the World Tag Team Eliminator Tournament. It was Jurassic Express versus Lucha Bros, and wowzers. This was an exciting match. I mean, just these two tag teams, definitely, you can see why they're the top two tag teams in AEW. Like, these two gave it their all. I mean, honestly, this really should have been the main event. This could have been the main event. But Lucha Bros were the last team standing. They were able to get the victory. And the Lucha Bros get the tag title shot at All Out against the Young Bucks, which is a steel cage match. So I really, really hope the Lucha Bros can win this match. I would love to see them finally be AEW Tag Champions. But I got a bad feeling that some way, somehow, Andrade El Idolo is going to screw that up. I got a bad feeling that they're going to screw that up. That he's going to screw that up. But we'll see. But I really... And I love the Young Bucks. I love the Young Bucks. But I really want the Lucha Bros to win this match. I really do. Because they've been long overdue for a tag title run. You had Miro come to the ring, brought out Fuego del Sol. I guess he was pretty mad that even despite defeating him, he still got the contract. And then he took his mask off. He took his mask off and then he Machta kicked him. I was like, dang. But you know what? That's Miro. And I like how they're booking Miro. They're booking him like a beast. Like he should be booked. Eddie Kingston came down. They brawled for a bit. But, yeah. I'm looking forward to when they finally fight for the TNT Championship. Because, like I said, Eddie Kingston's not a bad pick to dethrone Miro. But I don't think it'll happen. But should be a good match when the time comes. We had the Bunny versus Ty Conti. And apparently the Bunny had some extra backup, not just with the blade, but also in the form of Penelope Ford. Which, I mean, I know some folks are probably upset that, you know, the Bunny beat Ty Conti. You know, she used the brass knucks, cheated. But it still keeps Ty Conti strong. Remember, Ty Conti's been on a big win streak. I mean, she hasn't really lost much in AEW. I mean, yeah, there was like a few losses to Nyla Rose, lost to Sheeta in the title match, and I believe to, I think she fought Serena Deeb as well. But Ty hasn't lost that much since her AEW debut. So, I mean, Ty Conti's still going to be in the hunt. She's still going to be up in the ranks. So, I mean, yeah, the Bunny did win. She cheated to win. But I don't think this hurts Ty Conti, but it keeps her strong. It keeps her strong. And then the main event was Brandon Cutler and the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega taking on Frankie Kazarian and the Impact World Champion Christian Cage. Now, I mean, let's be honest. Most of this match was mainly Michael Nakazawa interference, and Brandon Cutler being fed to eat a lot of the damage. Which I know Kenny Omega got his in, but when it was all said and done, Kenny Omega left Brandon Cutler to suffer and to eat the defeat from Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian. Of course, he ate a kill switch. Well, actually, he ate a spear and then a kill switch. And Christian Cage, Frankie Kazarian were your main event winners. And message sent to Kenny Omega. But that's AEW for the week. Like I said, next week will be the go home week. So they'll have, I think they're going to do a episode of Dynamite. And then they're going to do a Rampage. And then I believe they're going to do a Road to All Out. I think they're going to do a Road to All Out special show as well. So that should be good. Should be really good. But okay, let's get into some WWE, I guess. So they opened up with Bobby Lashley and had Bobby Lashley versus Damien Priest. Of course, you know, it first started off with Bobby Lashley on the mic and pretty much bragged about his defeat of Goldberg, and you know, Damien Priest came out to counter that, and it's like, you know, you cheated. You used a cane. You know, MVP used a cane. It's not like Bobby Lashley did it all on his own. But that led to a match between the two, which was going pretty well. But Sheamus ended up coming in, and Damien got the DQ victory. Drew McIntyre came down to even the odds. This ended up turning into a tag team match. Not surprised. And then these four went against each other. Bobby Lashley him and MVP ended up leaving Sheamus behind for him to eat the defeat. And Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre got the victory. Drew got the Claymore and the pin. So, you know, there's going to be some tension between Sheamus and Bobby Lashley, especially after leaving the dude behind like that. Ricochet was Karrion Kross's next victim, as Karrion Kross beat Ricochet. And Karrion Kross came out with some new gear, had on a mask, looking like a knockoff combination of Demolition and a Dominatrix. It looked weird. And it's like, what are y'all doing? That must have been Vince's idea, because that him coming out with a mask and oh man. WWE main roster, where all the best stars go and get ruined. Oh man, it's ridiculous. Xavier Woods had a match with The Miz, which what led to this was we had Moist TV, and Logan Paul was a guest, and of course John Morrison and The Miz have kind of showed signs of a breakup. You know, there's been some dissension between the two, especially after John Morrison was really stressing how he was annoyed by the fact that The Miz lied about his recovery and such. So, I mean, yeah, it was bad. But Xavier Woods ended up getting the victory over The Miz, and then after the match, The Miz and Morrison, sure enough, for the second time in their tag team career, The Miz turned on Morrison and attacked him and took him out. Of course, a long time ago, the first time it happened was when they had, if I remember correctly, it was the WWE draft. They lost, and then I believe it was The Miz that got sent to SmackDown. Or no. I think it was Morrison. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Morrison. And then they dabbed up. And then Miz hit him with the reality check. So that ended that. And then here we go. Once again. Miz turning on Morrison, attacking him, taking him out, hit him with a skull-crushing finale. So I'm happy that this finally happened. So now John Morrison can have a singles run and hopefully can be back in the main event, in the main title picture, where he deserves to be. Let's see. We had Mansour versus Jinder Mahal. I didn't really care that much about this, but Mansour got the DQ victory. Mustafa Ali wasn't really impressed, which I don't get it. I mean, Beer and Shanky accompanied Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal kept attacking Mansour up to the 5 count. So, I mean, I don't know what the heck Ali was mad about. It's real dumb. It's just really, really dumb. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH went up against Nia and Shayna Baszler. Why are Nia and Shayna still a tag team? Why? Can we just end this? Seriously? Can we just end this tag team? Oh, man. And then, of course, what happens? Shayna Baszler eats the pin. Ate a riptide from Rhea Ripley. Got pinned. Why am I not surprised that Shayna gets pinned? She always gets pinned whenever Nia and Shayna lose. It's crazy. I don't know why they're still a tag team, but whatever. Now, you had Riddle versus AJ Styles, which was the main event. This was this was a weird choice for a main event. So this all came about where RK Bro was going to have a celebration for winning the tag titles at SummerSlam. And even Riddle got Randy Orton a new scooter, which was kind of funny. And of course, AJ Styles and Omos came out and made fun of them both, which ended up leading to this match. But sure enough, of course, Randy Orton had Riddle's back and even ended up putting that new scooter to use and attacking Omos with it to kind of even the odds. And Riddle was able to take advantage of AJ Styles and hit the Bro Derek for the win. So, and that was your main event. Not really a great choice for a main event, but then again, it's Raw. So, I mean, yeah. Okay. NXT. NXT was rather interesting. So, we had a nice little celebration with Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, Cameron Grimes came out, new $1 million champion, and had quite a moment with Ted DiBiase, so that was pretty cool. And then you later had a segment with, they were leaving. Of course, Ted DiBiase was getting ready to leave in his limo, and Cameron Grimes was like, you know what? You know, I don't think I should keep this title. You're the true $1 million champion, so I want you to have this. Gave it to Ted DiBiase, and Ted DiBiase was like, no, wait, Cameron, no. You deserve this. You're the man to carry the legacy. Gives him the belt back, but it happens to be a WWE shop replica $1 million championship. So I thought that was pretty funny, and of course Cameron Grimes was like, man, that Ted DiBiase. But he did it with a smile on his face, and it's all good. But it's clear that Cameron Grimes has won this feud, and you know what? He looked great. I'm happy for him. Now let's see what happens next for Cameron Grimes going forward. But this is good. We had Ridge Holland versus Timothy Thatcher, which, man, they really are building up Ridge Holland to be pretty dang on strong. But he was able to defeat Timothy Thatcher. Tough match. Definitely tough match. Not only that, but a returning Danny Burch came in. And of course, you know, Tommaso Ciampa tried to have Timothy Thatcher's back, but just the numbers were too much with Ridge Holland, Pete Dunne, Oney Larkin, and a returning Danny Burch. So, yeah. This, I don't know if they have a name for their stable, but that four-man stable, that's a pretty strong stable. Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland, Larkin, and Burch. That's a pair. We had a women's tag team match. We had Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter take on and defeat Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, which they hit a version of the Motor City Machine Gun's Skull and Bones that I love with the Net Breaker 450 splash combo. Love that. Love that tag team finisher. But yeah. But yet, still, they haven't gotten their tag title shot. I don't know what they're waiting on. I really don't know what they're waiting on with Zoe and Io. Like, they haven't defended those women's tag team titles yet. I don't know what they're waiting on. So. And then there was a segment after the match with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane where they got approached by Mandy Rose, who is looking to help turn their fortunes around if they join her. And it looks like they're probably going to join her. At least that's the idea that I got from that. Kaylee Ray made her NXT debut having a match with Valentina Feroz. I don't know if I said that name right. But Kaylee Ray got some action. Just didn't take long for her to debut after her appearance at TakeOver 36. And of course, you know, she ended up winning with a gory bomb. And yeah, they kind of changed up her entrance a little bit. Had the lights go off and then illuminate, and it showed her appearance. I definitely like this new version of her entrance. But yeah, Kaylee Ray, the former NXT UK Women's Champion, longest reigning, looked great. Definitely looked great. And then we had Samoa Joe come out, the new now 3-time NXT champion, and he was looking for a fight. He was looking to fight for anybody to step to him. For this title, was looking, you know, looking to line up challengers for his title. Pete Dunne came out first, then LA Knight, and then Kyle O'Reilly came out. And Kyle O'Reilly was the last to come out. And then he ended up getting blindsided by Ridge Holland, who hit him with the nightstick. So Kyle O'Reilly pretty much got beat down. And he was already kind of limping and I guess taped up from his ribs and whatnot. And then feel bad for Kyle O'Reilly as backstage he got attacked once again while during an exchange with Duke Hudson. So and then him and Duke Hudson brawled. So not a good night for Kyle O'Reilly, unfortunately. And then we had the finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament. Carmelo Hayes defeated Odyssey Jones. It was a good match. I thought it was a bad finish. I thought the finish was bad. He ate a death from above splash, very similar to what Mark Henry used to do. And Carmelo Hayes just reversed the pin into a crucifix and got the 3 count. That was a bad finish. That was a bad finish. Like I'm okay with Carmelo winning this tournament, but that was a bad finish. That was a bad finish. But it'll be interesting to see who he ends up challenging for, because apparently he has the rights to challenge any champion. Like I thought it was just going to be the NXT championship, but nah, he can actually challenge any champion in NXT. So hey, could go for the cruiserweight title. I mean, he already had a great match with Kushida. Could go for the North American title. Swerve, I would love to see him and Swerve go at it. Or he could try his hand at Samoa Joe. But he's got some options, and some really good options, some challenging options. So we'll see what he decides. And then Zion Quinn got a surprising quick victory over Boa, which Boa was in control in the first place, but then as he kind of acknowledged Mei Ying and bowed at her, he paid for it and caught a forearm, and Zion Quinn got the victory 1-2-3. Beat Boa, had a temporary stare down with Mei Ying, and then he bounced out of there. So, not a good look for Boa. Not a good look for Boa at all. And I'm guessing, he's got to try to carry the load until Xia Li comes back. And then we had the main event was a trios match. We had all of Legado del Fantasma take on Hit Row, made up of Swerve, Top Dollar, and Ashanti the Adonis. Now, this was a good match. I think this was a good back and forth match. And I was definitely waiting to see these 6 go at it again, because this has been quite a storyline. But then, as BFAB was watching, of course, for Hit Row, she ends up getting attacked by Elektra Lopez. And, of course, Legado del Fantasma was able to take advantage of that and the distraction. And Swerve got rolled up by Santos Escobar for a 1-2-3. So Legado del Fantasma wins, and they now have a new member, a female member, and Elektra Lopez. So, we got ourselves a 4-on-4 battle / storyline here between Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma. I am looking forward to see where this goes. But hey, it's even now. 4 against 4. So we'll see what happens. Oh, there was also a backstage angle with Raquel Gonzalez, who was being interviewed. And then Frankie Monet shows up. And she stepped to the NXT Women's Champion. I mean, Frankie Monet inserting herself into the picture. So, hey, I mean, you already had Kaylee Ray come out after Raquel Gonzalez's match at TakeOver 36. So, I got a feeling Raquel Gonzalez is going to be busy for quite a bit, especially with folks like Frankie Monet and Kaylee Ray in the picture now. It's exciting. It's definitely exciting. Okay, moving on to oh, and speaking of WWE NXT, I gotta show y'all this. Hold up. I gotta show y'all this. Really? 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 This is the new NXT? Really? This looks like NXT Kids Bop. Or like Nickelodeon NXT. Like this logo looks like trash. I'll let y'all be the judge of that, but that logo looks like pure stank trash. And I have a bad feeling that that's just a bad sign of things to come for the future of NXT. Anyway, NXT UK started off with an exciting no disqualification match between Aoife Valkyrie and the fashionista, Jenny, who had Joseph Connors locked into a shark cage. At first, during Aoife's entrance, Jenny, with the preemptive attack, and was trying to take advantage while Joseph Connors wasn't locked in a cage just yet, but Aoife Valkyrie was able to fight it off and then eventually get Connors into that shark cage and lock the door. But yeah, this was a hard-hitting match between these two ladies. These ladies really tore the house down. I mean, we saw chairs, we saw tables, like, we saw all sorts of action. But then, Aoife Valkyrie was able to seal the deal. She hit kind of a version of the Made in Japan onto the steel chair. And got the 1, 2, 3. So hopefully this puts an end to this feud, and Aoife Valkyrie can go back to concentrating on hopefully eventually getting a NXT UK Women's title shot. But glad for Aoife Valkyrie. We had another quarterfinal match in the Heritage Cup #1 Contenders Tournament. Had Oliver Carter versus Kenny Williams. This was a good match. This was definitely a good match. Yeah, nowadays these Heritage Cup matches have really been good. Of course, Kenny Williams got the cheap pin first, and then Oliver Carter was able to fight back and even the score at 1-1. But Kenny Williams was able to get the final pinfall after hitting Oliver Carter with the water bottle, the aluminum water bottle. Which, I mean, not surprised. Lately, he's been cheating to get wins, so I'm not surprised. So Kenny Williams advances in the tournament. And I believe he will take on Noam Dar in the next round, if I remember correctly. But yeah, good match though. And then we had it was also announced that next week Blair Davenport will take on Nina Samuels. So that ought to be interesting. And then we have the main event, which was Rampage Brown versus Joe Coffey in a knockout or submission match. Thought it was cool that at the beginning they touched fists, show a sign of respect. Both were like, "Hey, let's finish it." But yeah, this was a hard hitting back and forth match that could have gone either way. This really could have gone either way. Uh, I mean, these two hit each other with their signatures, their finishers. It was great. It was awesome. These two have excellent chemistry together. But when it was all said and done, after a few doctor bombs, Rampage Brown threw in a couple of shots on Joe Coffey to the point where he was deemed knocked out. And Rampage Brown wins the match. And then, of course, afterwards, one last fist bump, sign of respect. Good rivalry. Good rivalry. A very well booked rivalry between Rampage Brown and Joe Coffey. So we'll have to see what happens going forward now that I'm pretty sure this rivalry is over now. But overall, a good NXT UK episode. Really, really good. I know it took them a while to put it up on Peacock, but I'm glad I finally got around to it. It was a good episode. And then we have Smackdown. Which Smackdown was interesting. So Becky Lynch started off Smackdown, coming down to the ring, and pretty much got on the mic and was like, "If you thought I was dangerous before, you haven't seen anything until now. Now that I'm champion again." So, in the midst of that, Bianca Belair comes out, pretty much talked about, it's cool that you're back. I respect you, but if you think I was okay with that match at SummerSlam, So, she showed herself. And she wants a rematch. Then, Zelina Vega comes out. It's like, no. You don't deserve it. Move out the way. I want it. Then Carmella comes out. She wants a title shot. And then Liv Morgan, who we haven't seen on TV in a long while, comes out. And she wants a shot. And then Becky Lynch was like, "You know what? I'm out. Y'all do your thing. I'm out." And, they kind of had a brawl. The ladies brawled afterwards as Becky Lynch was taking her leave. And the last one standing at the moment was Liv Morgan. So, hey, I'm just glad to see she's back on TV. It's been way too long, and she deserves to be having matches and moving up the ranks. So what they ended up having was a fatal four-way elimination match where the winner would face Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title. So you had Liv Morgan, you had Bianca Belair, you had Carmella, you had Zelina Vega. Now, it came down to, the final two came down to Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. Now, of course, the order of the eliminations were Bianca Belair eliminated Zelina Vega with a KOD. Liv Morgan eliminated Carmella, and then a second KOD from Bianca Belair to Liv Morgan. And Bianca Belair is number one contender, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, I get it, but I really hope to see more Liv Morgan on TV and having matches and getting into the title picture finally. But for now, Bianca Belair, number one contender. We had Cesaro versus Chad Gable, which ended in a DQ when Otis came in and attacked Cesaro and hit him with a splash. This is getting kind of ridiculous. I mean, there's been a lot of these matches lately where Otis is interfering or the other. It's like these two aren't in enough tag team matches. It always seems to be like a singles match. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying what this Alpha Academy has been reduced to. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this tag team. I'm a fan of American Alpha, but I'm not a fan of this tag team. The Usos had a segment with Paul Heyman, which all seemed cool. And I guess the Usos were pretty much kind of suspicious of Paul Heyman. You know, it's like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me you didn't know Brock Lesnar was going to be at SummerSlam? You ain't have nothing to do with that, Us. You ain't have nothing to do with that. Be honest. But not only that, for a second there, Paul Heyman was locked out of the locker room of Roman Reigns. I just thought that was kind of funny. And then Roman Reigns shows up to see him there. He's like, "What are you doing? Aren't you going to open the door? Aren't you coming inside?" You know, it's just so funny. It was actually really funny. So we had Happy Corbin come to the ring. It's been showed that he hit the casinos in Las Vegas. Luck was on his side. Hit the jackpot. Won lots and lots of money. Got him a new suit. Got him a new car. He's styling and profiling now. He looks like a young JBL. But he comes in, he pretty much brags about his win streak and how luck has turned around for him. And he calls out Big E. So, calls out Big E and offered to buy Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase. I think the most he offered was $100,000. It was oh man, this is silly. But of course Big E declined and threatened him to pretty much leave out of the ring, which Happy Corbin ended up leaving. He didn't try to attack Big E or anything like that. So I guess with this gimmick, it's like no matter what others say, Baron Corbin is too happy to really care. He's rich, therefore I'm gonna be alright. Oh man, but yeah, this is the new Happy Corbin. We had Rick Boogs and King Nakamura in a tag team match taking on Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs. And of course, Rick Boogs definitely showing that he can hold his own. And they were able to get the victory once again as a tag team. Rick Boogs looking strong, which I think he has an amateur wrestling background. I'm not too sure. Somebody remind me. But I think Rick Boogs has a strong amateur wrestling background. But overall, good match. Good match. I wasn't complaining. So we had a segment with the Mysterios, which Rey Mysterio was like, "I think it's time for you, son, to go out on your own." Dominic was a little irritated with that, but you know, he gets it. He gets it. So he had a match against a hidden opponent, which turned out to be Sami Zayn. And you know what, to be honest, I thought Dominic did pretty good in this match with Sami Zayn. I think it was a good opponent for him. Yes, he lost, but I think Dominic looked good in the ring with Sami Zayn. I do. I really do. Like, I wish they could have had a much longer match. Not saying that this was super short, but I thought he looked good in the ring against Sami Zayn. Me personally. But wasn't able to get the victory. Sami Zayn won. His father tried to consult him, but Dominic was not having that. He kind of pushed him off. He wasn't having it. And I'm pretty sure that little by little, this is going to lead to Dominic turning on his father. and they're going to split the Mysterios. It's kind of annoying because I wanted them to have a little bit longer of a tag team title run, especially being they're the first father-son combo to win the tag titles. But, you know, a lot of focus is on the bloodline. We got to see Naomi appear. She was with Sonya Deville, which apparently Sonya Deville pretty much berated her, you know, by saying she didn't even know she was coming to SmackDown. But Naomi is now officially on the SmackDown roster. And, you know, with the way that Sonya Deville made her feel, and she just, you know, walked away, looking very discouraged. And honestly, I think it's messed up. I think it's messed up. It took this long, and Naomi's finally back on TV, but now it's just on SmackDown now. So I'm hoping she starts getting some matches, but you know what would be nice? You know what would be really, really cool? Is if she got recruited to join the Bloodline. You know, being that her husband Jimmy is with the Bloodline. That could not be any more of a perfect scenario than getting Naomi as part of the Bloodline. Like, I hope they pull the trigger on that. I really do. The Usos, Roman Reigns, Naomi, who's married to Jimmy Uso, they need to pull that trigger. They need to pull that trigger. I want to see Naomi in the Bloodline. I want to see it. I want to see it. You want to see it. And then the final segment of SmackDown, we had the Roman Reigns family celebration, which everybody came out to the ring. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Paul Heyman, everybody came out to the ring. And we're getting ready to have the family celebration. Paul Heyman got on the mic, talked up Roman Reigns and the Usos. And then Finn Balor, the Prince, comes out and challenged Roman Reigns for a Universal title match for pretty much next week. He got into the ring, and even though he was outnumbered, he still brought the fight and attacked Roman Reigns, and of course he got swarmed by the Usos as well. And then out comes the Street Profits to even the odds, standing side by side with Finn Balor, who ended up getting one last shot via a coup de grace. I don't know if that was on Jimmy or Jay. But yeah, the Street Profits and Finn Balor standing strong at the end. But yeah, looks like we're getting ready to see Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor very soon. Maybe probably as soon as Extreme Rules, which I believe is the next upcoming pay-per-view. But yeah, and that was SmackDown. Was an interesting night. But yeah, that was SmackDown. Okay. That pretty much does it for this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. Covered quite a bit. Like I said, we got even much more to cover next week, as next week's the go home for AEW as they get ready for AEW All Out in Chicago, and that's going to be a crazy card. You also got Wrestle Grand Slam at the MetLife Dome with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and of course more Stardom 5-star Grand Prix action. So, a lot to look forward to. But anyway, thank y'all so much for hanging out and for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And just thank you for your time. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend. Enjoy, and I will see y'all soon. Take care, everybody. Laters.